And so the first level of the spirits or demonic is what we call wandering spirits. Are we together? So they are there and they are just wandering. They don't have a destination, though in the day of judgment they will be judged, and they already judged, and they will have a destination. But the second dimension, we have what we call now the spirits that come from abyss. So you have the wandering spirits. You have the wandering spirits. Remember, spirits are disembodied. I mean, these are disembodied entities. A spirit is an entity without a body. The only way man has legality and functionality on earth, whatever gives you or legality on earth, is your body. Every man has a spirit, a soul, and a body. And the assignment of man is not in the body. The assignment of man is in the spirit. Genesis chapter number 1, and God created man, and God said unto man, multiply, have dominion. The assignment of man was given in the spirit. But you can never fulfill your spiritual assignment in the realm of the earth without a body. So the reason why God now formed the man of the ground is so that he can give you a spirit legality in the realms of the earth. So without a body, you are illegal on earth. By that verdict, by that law, a spirit that does not have a body, all it can do is hover. But the moment it gets a body, it can implement its assignment. So the reason why we have bodies is not for body shaming. The reason why we have a body is to carry a spirit. So that now my spirit has legality on earth. Now the second dimension that maybe most of us don't understand is that we have spirits in abyss. Revelation chapter number 9 and verse 2. And he opened the bottomless pit, and smoke arose out of the pit like the smoke of a great furnace. So the sun and their air were darkened because of the smoke of the pit. Look at 3. Then out of the smoke locusts came upon the earth, and to them was given power as the scorpions of the earth have power. So we see that something opened. Maybe you can begin from verse 1. 9 verse 1. Something opened so that we see. Then the 5th angel sounded, and I saw a star fallen from heaven to the earth. To him was given the key to the bottomless pit. So there are certain spirits that are bound in what we call the bottomless pit. When we look at this, the matter of the 5th angel and the matter of the plague that was coming by the sounding, it tells you there are certain demonic entities that are bound. If they show up on earth, chaos will enter. Look at verse 11. They had as king over them the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name is Hebrew is Abaddon, but in Greek he has the name Apollyon. Now this explains the order, that there is a chief power. Remember, what fell was the angels, not demons. Whatever that fell from heaven were the angels, a third of the angels. We know the fraction, but we don't know the number. So we don't know how many fell. But when we begin to look at the rank, I can tell you there are millions of angels. So if we are talking about a third, it means it's not just a small number. These are millions of angels. We don't know their ranking, because when we look at the angelic, the biblical order of the angelic, we have number 1, we have the seraphims. Number 1, the seraphims. This is the biblical order of the angelic. Number 1, we have the seraphims. Number 2, we have the cherubims. Number 3, we have Michael, Archangel Michael. And number 4, we have the host of heaven. These are angels of war. They are called the host of heaven. And that's why when I mention Michael, I must mention the host of heaven. Number 5, we have Gabriel. And number 6, we have the watchers. In that rank, we know that Lucifer was a cherub. So we don't know if it is the cherub that fell, or whether in the 6 ranks, angels fell in certain orders. We don't know. But what we know is that every demonic, every angelic entity that fell became a chief. And part of the chief became principalities. If the Lord was to open your eyes and begin to see some of these principalities, you will discover they are actually creatures. I believe some of the extractions and the images that people build trying to depict a certain God is actually a reality. I believe the way they try to depict Baphomet, a creature with a head of a goat and hand of a man, because you know it's a strange creature. But when you read the creature that Ezekiel saw, a creature that has the head of a man, the head of an eagle, the head of a lion, and the head of an ox, and that creature had wings and eyes all over. That's a strange creature. So if Baphomet has the head of a goat and you know, feet of a goat and hands of a man, it means in the realm of the spirit, because of our normalcy of creating with certain species, in the realm of the spirit, you'll be surprised to see creatures. And I want to believe it is out of those interactions that people now come and build models of idols. So it is an expression of an invisible creature that people have journeyed and have seen it, and now they create an image of that creature. And behind the worship of that idol is the principality and the ruler of that principality, which of course is Lucifer. So when you look at verse 11, we begin to see that there was a chief angel. And under this Apollyon is a principality of chaos. So it looks like there are certain demons that were under his order. Some looked like locusts. They were not locusts. They looked like locusts, but they were under his order. But they were bound in the bottomless pit, because the Lord needed order on earth. So meaning that the level of chaos we see globally, the church and the earth, when they walk in revelation, they have the ability to settle it. What has been permitted to manifest, we have the capacity to deal with it. So there is no devil, there is no demon greater than the church and greater than the saints. Because our Father, being our Father, had to bind some powers so that his sons can manage what is available. Let's still look at Revelation 11 and verse 7. When they finish their testimony, the beast that ascends out of the bottomless pit will make war against them, overcome them, and when they finish there, so I'm still building a matter that there is a bottomless pit. That bottomless pit is what is called abyss. In theology of the last days, if you die now, let's assume 2 people. One is in the Lord and the other one is not born again. That's why I don't mess up with burials. One is in the Lord, the other one is not born again. The one that is in the Lord will be captured in a place called paradise. That is what people call heaven. Now, paradise is an Arabic word. It has its roots in Aramaic. And in the culture of the day, kings had their palace. And they had their area where it was like a balcony and a lounge. And every paradise was a place in a palace. In that lounge, they had planted beautiful gardens, flowers. And in that lounge, the king took his friends. So anyone that came to the palace for any other business, you met the king on the throne. You did the business that took you there. And after that, you are ushered out of the palace. But anyone that was a friend of the king never met the friend in the palace. He met him in this beautiful place. And that place was called paradise. You remember when Jesus died on the cross, he looked at the thief. He never told him, tonight you will be with me in heaven. He said, tonight you will be with me in paradise. Because when Jesus came, he came to reconcile man to God. And because reconciliation, whatever was needed on the cross was the blood. So the moment the blood was shed, immediately, and the thief accepted that this is the one that died for me. The thief accepted. That thief entered into paradise. Meaning that he was to be received, not where ordinary visitors are received. He was to be received where important guests, friends of the king, are received. It is called paradise. So we are not going to heaven just as people invited to heaven. The day you got born again, you became a son of God. So when you enter paradise, when you enter heaven, heaven is where your father dwells. Because your father is a king, he dwells on a throne. But you never meet your father on a throne. It is error. You meet your father where friends are taken. But let's assume you die as a sinner. As a sinner, where do you go? Not paradise. You don't go to paradise. You don't go to paradise. Because before Jesus came, even Abraham could not enter. The only way that man could meet God from Adam, it was by Calvary. And that's why Jesus went and did an evangelism for 3 days. Because there is no other way. It's by the blood. So now, here is a man who doesn't know God. He comes to church. That is not salvation. Go and sleep in a garage and see if you'll become a car. So coming to church does not make you a Christian. You are a good guy, but good is not godly. Because righteousness is not a product of deed, product of status. It's not what I have done, it's what he did for me. So there is nothing, my good deeds cannot buy my salvation. And so if a man dies without Jesus, he will go to abyss. Not hell. You can't go to hell before Lucifer. Hell was not created for you. Hell is the eternal damnation of Lucifer. So you can't go to hell. You are not Lucifer. And you realize it is Jesus and the New Testament that brought the conversation of hell. And so when a man goes to abyss, what does that mean? You enter where other spirits that rebelled against God are, waiting for the day of judgment. It is called the white throne judgment. The white throne judgment is the judgment of sinners. And then now, after they have gone through judgment, they will be moved from abyss to eternal fire. But abyss is not a place of peace. Because you can see if the chief of abyss is Apollyon, and he's considered as an angel of wrath, it means there is a place where men go and they don't rest in peace. Tusidanganyane. Iyo msalaba tunaeka kwa hiyo mazishi, kwa hiyo jeneza, ni ya kucomfort familia. But there is a place men go and they don't rest in peace. They are tormented. That's why when Jesus gives it's not a parable. Jesus gave the story of a rich man and Lazarus is a story. It's not a parable. It does not have hidden meaning. It is a very straightforward story that where Lazarus is and where the rich man is, they can never meet. And there is no salvation, there is no deliverance. It's a place when you shift, it is permanent. That's why you see what we need to do. The church must grow in balance. We must have an eternal focus even as we labor in the realm of the earth. Because we made the church lose the eternal focus. Now we are so much preoccupied with blessing. We are so much preoccupied with the things of this world. Can I tell you something? Some of the things we are going through is not that the affliction has increased, is our focus on eternity has shifted. What is that Paul saw? That he said, I'll fix my eyes on Jesus, the author and the finish of my faith. What did he know? That no amount of affliction could take away the testimony of Jesus. And the man will still write and say, I have run the race, I have kept the faith, I am now ready to be poured as a living sacrifice. There must be an eternal focus if there has to be a disciplined walk. Some sacrifices will not come to church until the eternal focus comes back. People think they come to church and they are doing pastor a favor. I listened to a man and he said, there are two things the devil will never tell you. One, the devil will never tell you get born again. Two, the devil will never tell you give. Because giving advances the kingdom. Getting born again changes your life. And I discovered those are the two decisions that people struggle with. If you die now and you don't know Jesus, let me not lie to you. It is abyss. A place of torture until the close of the age. The destiny of every believer is on a renewed earth and a new heaven. We are coming back on earth, but it will be a renewed. There will be no sea. The greatest demonic kingdom is in the sea. So the sea has to be taken out, and so that man can come and dwell with his maker forever. But the other one is eternal damnation. Is someone getting me?
Walipokuwa wakijenga, walitamani sana kuona sakafu inayovutia, isiyoharibika kwa urahisi na inayoangaza kwa umbali. Je, wajua sakafu ya terazo ndiyo iliwapa jibu kamili ya walichokuwa wakitafuta? Inawekwa kwa urahisi na kwa utaratibu unaofaa. Hii ni baada ya kutayarisha sakafu vilivyo, kisha mwaga mchanganyiko wa mawe na simiti na rangi. Lainisha na uhakikishe imemwagwa kwa umakini kutumia rola. Subiri kati ya siku 3 hadi wiki 1 ikauke. Baada ya hapo, anza kuosha ukitumia mashini spesheli ya kazi hii na maji, na baadaye tumia acid kuosha ili kutoa uchafu na madoa sugu. Malizia kwa kupaka mafuta au polish ya kuifanya idumu. Ikiwa unajenga kanisa, hospitali, shule, apartment, nyumba ya kuishi, viwanda, vinywaji vya mafuta, benki au mjengo wowote ule, tutembelee, kwani tuna mafundi wenye ubunifu na tajriba ya hali ya juu na uzoefu wa muda mrefu. Express Terazo Center tunakuuzia bidhaa za hali ya juu na kukuletea mahali popote nchini. Tutembelee leo, Ruiru Bypass Kamakis, pale Karuguru, mita chache kutoka RFH Hospital, au piga simu 0798-333-000. Express Terazo Center Bypass. You dream it, we fix it.